Alright guys, this tutorial is for Adobe Illustrator Grade 11 Typography Basics. Create a file, new, and I'm just going to create a print, letter size. I'm going to use inches, 8.5 by 11. I'm going to keep this portrait for this one. Okay, press OK. Voila. Okay, and remember guys, if you need to refresh or rearrange your workspace, go to Workspace under the window and click Reset Essentials. So your interface might look more like this. Okay, so the typography tool. Right, I'm going to scroll right over here. I talked about selection tool and direct selection yesterday. We're going to talk about the type tool. Now if I click and hold here, you can see there's other type tools. I'll address these in a sec. Let's just go to the regular type tool. Now take note, there are two ways of addressing the type tool. You can click once and type, or you can get your type tool and click and drag a text box. Now, I prefer the first one for graphic designers. The second method is great if you're doing typography for a magazine article, where the box will confine and the text will flow to that shape of the box. Okay? But for what we're doing, guys, I need you just to click and let go and type a graphic text. So do not do a paragraph. So I'll start again. Get your text tool, click once, let go, type in a word. So this word here, I'm just going to say hello. Okay. That's it. Just type, click once and type. Don't click and drag the box. Now, when I click a text, I do get character and paragraph styles. So I'm going to click character. This is where you can pick and choose your font and the sizing and address issues like leading, kerning, and tracking. Okay. Now, if you click on the character box, and I'm going to hold shift while grabbing a corner, and I can enlarge the font proportionally. If I don't do that, it's not a good thing. So I'm going to move this to the side here, and click on character. Now, if I drop down this box, I can see different types of fonts and font families and different fonts within the family. So for example, if I go to, I'll just use a basic font like Arial, just for example. So here's Arial. There's Arial regular, italic, bold, and a bold italic. Okay. Then there's Arial black. It's on its own, an arrow. So if I use Arial bold, okay, it'll change. Now here's a cool thing you can do. Highlight the text, go to character, and if you if you just use your cursor key on the thing, you can actually see what the font looks like while you're going through. So I'm going up and down, and it'll show me what the font looks like. And if the font family has other fonts to it, you'll see this. So this font only has regular. Let's go back to Arial. There's a regular, but if I drop down, I can see the other ones. Okay, so that's how you pick fonts. Sometimes it's nice just to click character, click on this, and you can see what the font looks like. It gives you a little preview before you actually pick it, so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Notice this script font's not great in capital letters. I would probably retype it. Check this out on Illustrator. Highlight text, go to type, and if you want to change the case, if you're lazy and don't want to retype it, I can make this all lowercase. So it's a nice little feature that Illustrator has. I'm going to press Alt and duplicate this. If I go to Arial for this one, let's go with, bear with me, bold. I'm going to drop this down. If I want this capital letters, select everything, go to type, go to change case, and go to uppercase, and everything will be uppercase. It just saves you time from retyping things. All right. Now let's go and talk about leading. So I'm going to type out the word hello, and I'm going to double click on here. I'm going to press enter. So now I'm on another line of text. My name is Dave. Now, leading is the space between the letters, lines of type. Okay, so if I highlight all three tiered sentences, so you must have at least two tiered sentences for this to work. I want you to do me a favor. With your left hand on your keyboard, hold the Alt Option button. The Alt Option button is actually one button. Okay. With your right hand and your up and down cursor, press the upper cursor and you'll see that it actually brings the typography leading tighter. If you go downwards, it separates this. So try this out on your own. This is called leading. Press enter and you'll have two lines. Okay. Okay. Now check this out. If I highlight only this sentence and I press Alt Option, I will only bring up that line of text. See how the word hello and my name didn't bring up. I only brought up the typography for that lower line. So you can pick and choose what line you want to bring up. Okay. So guys, this is an example of leading. And notice when I highlight this and I go to character, notice that it actually mathematically changed the number of the leading. You could technically go here and pick your leading, a certain number. So you can mathematically pick it, or I like my personally Alt Option and visually selecting an incremental number. Okay, so you could do this mathematically or visually. Okay, so that is leading. Let's talk about kerning. So I'm going to zoom in on the word hello. And you know what? By default, the typographer that made the font has a kind of set standard for the spacing between letters. Sometimes it's pretty good. Sometimes you want to change it up. Here's an example. The space between the L's are a bit too loose. So I'm going to click on my cursor in between the two L's. With the Alt Option button held, I'm going to press left or right, and it'll bring the spacing in between those letters tighter or looser. Okay. The O, I might want to bring that in a little closer, and in between the H. So you can pick and you can kern the typography to be more suited to your taste. Okay, so make sure, guys, if it's not working, double click the text. Make sure the cursor's in between the letters. Hold the Alt Option button and the left and right cursor keys. Okay. Now, if I wanted to do a whole sentence, this is called tracking. So I'm going to select the words is Dave. I'm going to do the same option, but notice I'm not in between letters. I've selected the whole sentence. Hold Alt, left and right. It'll space out the lettering in between every letter in that highlighted area. Okay, guys? So those are your three major things to learn in typography. Leading, again, is the spacing in between lines of text. Kerning is individual characters. So putting your cursor in between and spacing in between characters. And tracking is the whole word or whole sentence. Okay, that's a lesson for that.